Hello everybody, this is Laurie Sand, and this is a step-by-step tutorial of my design Ring of Roses coaster and basket, which is featured in the spring 2022 issue of Crochet magazine. So to start off, I wanted to show you how I get started. I actually use a slightly different technique than what they described in the magazine. You can use what they describe in the magazine too, but I'm going to show you something that's called the sliding loop that's a little bit more secure. So what I do is I wrap the yarn twice around my finger. I need a little more tail than that. And then I insert the hook from right to left if you're right-handed, or left to right if you're left-handed, and hook up this working yarn that's connected to the ball and pull it back under, which kind of creates like this loop like this, and then I chain one to secure it, and then the very first round is actually going to be worked into this loop. So for this basket, the first round I chain 5, so I've already chained 1, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, which counts as the first double crochet and chain 2 space. And then I double crochet and chain 2 7 more times into the ring. So double crochet, and then chain 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Gotta get a little more yarn here. 5, 6, and 7. Then what you want to do before joining to the beginning of the round is you want to close this sliding loop. So to do this with this particular type of loop, you find the free end and you kind of gently pull on it. You're watching for which of these two threads is tightening up when you do that, and you're going to grab a hold of that piece of yarn, the one that tightened up when you pulled the end, and you're going to tighten that. And then you're going to tighten up, pulling on the free end again. That makes a nice tight little loop. And why I prefer this method is because that means that there's at least 2 threads then that's holding the center. And it's just, you're not putting all your eggs in one basket, so to speak. And then at the end, what I typically do is I will weave this end in around at least twice more, which is going to make this really secure. I have had some really heartbreaking experiences in the past where I used a much less secure method for securing the middle, and watching your piece just dissolve from the inside out is pretty devastating. So I highly recommend this method. Okay, since I'm going to switch colors after this round, I've cut my green yarn, and I'm going to show you a little technique that I like to use for finishing off. There is actually really is a good reason for finishing off at the end of every round, because we're going to be joining the yarn in a different location. So how I like to join is I go up until my last stitch, and I actually take the needle and go back up through And then I'm kind of creating that slip stitch. So 1, 2, 3, there's the third chain, the top of our first double crochet essentially. And I'm going to go under these 2 top bars from back to front and make it nice and snug, and then I'm going to go back up through that same loop to kind of create a slip stitch. It just makes it really nice and neat. And then you can just kind of weave in as usual. I'm not going to do that right now necessarily. And it just makes it a really nice, neat join. Now we're going to switch to this pink color, our color B, which needs to be joined into any chain 2 space. So just pick one. I like to stagger the locations for the beginning, just makes it kind of nice and neat. So I'm going to insert my hook from front to back into any chain 2 space and pull up a loop of pink, and then I'm going to chain 1. I like to chain 1 holding the 2 ends together just to kind of secure it, and then I'm going to switch to working with just the working yarn of the pink. So we're going to single crochet in this same space and then work 7 double crochets in the next chain 2 space right here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, let's see, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I need one more. And then I'm going to single crochet in the next chain 2 space. And then I'm going to continue in the same way around, working 7 double crochets and then a single crochet, 7 double crochets all the way around back to our first single crochet. So here I am just finishing up round 2. You're going to be ending with one of those groups of 7 double crochet. So once again, I'm going to cut my yarn rather than doing a slip stitch, which you still can do. You can still do a slip stitch into the first single crochet and just finish off however you would normally finish off, but this is definitely a method I recommend. So I'm kind of following the yarn back the way it came. So since this is a double crochet, I have 2 of these loops to go through. And then I find that single crochet that started the round right there. I go underneath it from back to front, and then back up the way I came before. And then you can just weave in your ends pretty normally from there. Now we're going to go back to green for round 3. So join color A in any single crochet. So we have 4 single crochets to choose from. This is where we just joined, so let's pick a different place right here. I'm going to pull up this loop. Then I'm going to chain 3, which is going to count as our first double crochet. So you notice again, my first loop I made has both the working yarn and the end just to secure it, but then I go back to working just the working yarn. This is going to count as our first double crochet, this chain 3. Then we're going to do 4 double crochet in the same stitch, the very same stitch we just joined in. And 4. So essentially we're treating this as a double crochet, so we have 5 double crochet here in this single crochet. Then we skip the next 3 double crochet and work 7 double crochet in the next double crochet. That's kind of a lot of words to say. Find the middle double crochet and work 7 double crochets in it, right? Because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the middle one is here. So we're skipping 1, 2, 3, and then this guy is where we're going to work a whole bunch of double crochets. Sorry, hit my camera. So I got 5 and 6 and 7. Then we're going to skip these next 3 double crochet again. 1, 2, 3, and the next stitch is a single crochet, right? I'm sure you can guess what we're going to do next. We're going to work 5 double crochet into that single crochet. And then we're going to repeat this pattern around. So we're going to skip the next 3 double crochet, work 7 double crochet here, and etc. back until we come around here. So here we are at the end of round 3. I joined it just the way I've already shown you. I also went back and wove in some ends just because it was getting kind of cluttered with all the ends. So for round 4, we're again going to be joining our color B, which in this case is pink, in any center double crochet of any 7 double crochet group. So a corner, essentially. So if you find a corner, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, so you can find that middle double crochet fairly simply. And pull up your loop and chain 1. Then in each corner, we're going to be working 3 single crochets. So 1, 2, and 3. Then we're going to single crochet in every stitch across to the next corner. So every double crochet that we see, we're just going to work a single crochet in it. It's pretty simple. So there's 11 single crochet between the corners, if you're the type of person who prefers to count. To be honest, I'm a little bit more of a wing it type of person. I look for the middle and I'm just like, good enough. So 1, 2, 3, 4, there's our center. We're going to work 3 double crochet here. Sorry, 3 single crochet here. My bad. And we're going to again work single crochet across to the next corner. That's 11 single crochet. 1, 2, 3. You don't really need to watch me doing this. This is pretty simple. So again, every corner will have 3 single crochets. There's going to be 11 in between, and then again 3. So I'll catch you when we're done with this round. Here we are at the end of round 4. If you're just interested in making a coaster, congratulations, you're done. You can cut your yarn and finish off the way I showed you before. If you're ready to make the basket, this coaster piece is actually going to be the bottom of the basket, but we need to make it slightly bigger so that the coasters fit inside the basket. So we're going to continue with color B, which is pink. So without finishing off, we are just going to do a regular old slip stitch join in the first single crochet of the round. Then we're going to chain up 1 and single crochet in the same stitch. Now, since we want to make the bottom a little bigger, we need to continue to be adding increases at the corners. So the next stitch is the center of the corner. It's the center single crochet of those 3 single crochets you made in every corner. So we're going to again make 3 single crochets in the corner. And then we are going to work 13 single crochet across to the next corner, work 3, 13 across, work 3, all the way around. Here we are at the end of round 5. I haven't yet joined. I'm going to show you how to join in just a second, but before we move on, I recommend marking the center single crochet on one of the sides. That's going to help you know where to place your rosebuds moving forward, and this is the easiest point to do it when you definitely know where the corners are. You can find the center single crochet of any chain of 3 single crochet group, and you are going to count 8 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and you're going to place your marker in the 8th one because there are 15 single crochet between each corner, so 8 is your center. All right, moving on to round 6. This is the point at which we're starting to make the sides of the basket. We're not going to be adding any more increases. I like to work in the back loops when I start making the sides of a basket. I think it just makes a very clear delineation between the bottom and the sides. I think it just looks really nice. So when you come to the end of row 5, I actually recommend doing your slip stitch joining into only the back loop, just to create a very consistent look. So the joining is into the back loop, chain 1, single crochet into that same stitch. You are going to go the whole way around, single crocheting in each single crochet only in the back loop, the whole way around. I'll do just a few to demonstrate what I mean by back loops. And you can already see we have a very definite line here. You can already see that it's kind of starting to turn into the side of the basket. So just continue all the way around, single crochet in each single crochet around, back loop only. I'll catch you at the end of this row. Here we are at the end of round 6. I've worked in the back loops in all the single crochet around, and we can see this nice ridge. When I reached this marker, I removed the marker, worked with single crochet in that stitch, and then just placed the marker back in that new single crochet. Now I have joined with a slip stitch and chained 1, and I'm just going to go around working single crochet in each single crochet around through both loops. Pretty standard stuff. Then when I get to the end of this round, I'm going to cut my yarn and weave in my ends in preparation for switching to green so that we can make the leaves and stem of our rosebuds. We're ready to start round 8, which is when we're going to be working the leaves and stem part of the rosebuds. We're going to join our color A, which is green, in this stitch that we marked earlier. So I'm going to remove my marker and join here. And we're going to single crochet in the same stitch we just joined into. And then we are going to work 6 single crochet. Three, 4, 5, and 6. And then in the next stitch, we are going to work that leaves and stem section, which is single crochet and then chain 8 and single crochet in the same stitch 3 times. That sounds kind of scary and complicated. What it really means is you're going to have 4 single crochets in the same stitch, and in between them you're going to have these 3 loops of chain 8s. So I work 1 single crochet in that stitch, chain 8, then I go back and I single crochet in the same stitch, chain 8 again. I'm going back to the same stitch to single crochet again. And then I do this one more time. So I'm going to have 2 leaves and 1 stem. So each one you should have 3 chain 8 loops. So 1, 2, 3. And then back into the same stitch one last time with a single crochet. You can already kind of see what I'm getting at with 2 leaves and 1 stem. Then we're going to single crochet, let's see, in the next 9 single crochet. And 8 and 9. And then we're going to work that leaf and stem thing again. We'll single crochet in the next stitch, chain 8. And a single crochet. So I'm just going to do the same thing I did. I'm going to end up having 4 single crochets in the same stitch and these 3 chain 8 loops. Once we get to the end of row 8, we're going to work one last one of these, and then we are going to work 6 single crochet and then join, and you can finish off in preparation for another color change. So we've got all our leaf and stem segments done, and we've joined back again and finished off. Now for round 9, we're going to rejoin our color B in the first stitch we made of round 8. So just the same place we started last time, we're going to join in here again, and we're going to do our chain 1, single crochet in the same stitch. Then we're going to single crochet in the next 6 single crochet. Essentially, we're going to stitch across to our first leaf and stem section. Oops. There's our 6 single crochet. We are not going to stitch into any of the single crochets we made as part of the leaf and stem. We're essentially going to skip over this entire thing. We're going to chain 1, which is going to basically replace the single crochet that we stitched into when we made the leaf and stem. We're going to completely skip the whole thing. Notice how this single crochet right here is still part of the leaf and stem. You have to skip that one too. This is important. And then single crochet into the next single crochet. So you notice how this kind of pushes it forward. We're going to have this chain that's behind it, and then the flower part, this is what makes it 3-dimensional. This is what pushes it forward. I'm going to show this at least one more time, I think. Then we're going, so we just single crocheted, and then we are going to single crochet in the next 8 stitches. Yeah, so there's 9 single crochet between the leaf and stem segments. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Now again, I want to highlight the single crochets we made as part of the leaf and stem are never going to get worked into. So let me see if I can kind of highlight where they are. There's one, there's one, there's one, and there's one. There are 4 single crochets that are a part of the leaf and stem, and we're just going to skip over that whole bit. We're going to chain 1 again, which is kind of our placeholder. We're going to come over here and find our next single crochet that is not part of leaf and stem. That's part of leaf and stem, that isn't. And we're going to, again, so that's 1, and we're going to do 9 single crochet across to the next leaf and stem. I'm going to show this one more time, and then I'll stop the video and I'll finish up my row, you can finish up your row, and we'll meet up again when we're ready for round 10. All right, so we've done 9 single crochet. We're going to chain 1. We're skipping this whole leaf and stem thing, and we're finding the next single crochet. So be very careful here. Here is leaf and stem. This is the next single crochet you want to single crochet into. So that chain 1 is going to go behind the leaf and stem. So continue in this way, working 9 single crochet, and then chain 1 and skip the leaf and stem, 9 single crochet, etc., etc. When you get back around to the beginning of the round, you are going to do one last chain 1 and skipping of the leaf and stem, then single crochet in the last 6 single crochet and join, and do not finish off. We're going to continue with pink in round 10. In round 10, we kind of have a lot to unpack. It's kind of complicated to write in words, but I think it's not going to be too complicated to understand if you're watching me do it. So I'm just going to join round 9 here with a slip stitch, as per usual. Chain 1. I'm going to single crochet in this same stitch. Then I'm going to single crochet in the next 3 single crochet. Now, this is the point at which I'm basically going to attach my first leaf. If you're right-handed, this will be the right-hand leaf. If you're left-handed, this will be the left-hand leaf. I'm going to insert my hook into this first loop, make sure that it is the first loop and they're not getting tangled up, and insert it into the next single crochet. So this is the next stitch I'm going to work, and I'm going to work the next stitch and the loop together a single crochet. It's a little bit tricky, I guess. Kind of find that stitch, and then you're just going to work a single crochet as normal. See how I've kind of tacked down the leaf? Then I'm going to look back behind here. These leaves and stems kind of get in the way. I'd like to kind of flop them forward so I can see what I'm doing. Then I work single crochets in the next 2 single crochets. And then I work a single crochet into the chain. I prefer to work it into the chain. You can also work it into the chain space. I don't know that it really matters. The pattern specifies doing it into the chain because that's what I do, but you can let the spirit move you if you desire. And then I am going to work 2 more single crochets here, 1 and 2, and then I'm ready to tack down the last loop. Now that, again, if you're right-handed, that will be the left loop. If you are left-handed, it will be the right loop. Is that right? I'm not left-handed, obviously. So I'm going to find the correct loop. I'm going to put my hook through it from front to back, and then I'm going to find my next single crochet. Here's the one I just worked, so here's the next one, and I'm just going to work a single crochet basically like normal, just like that. Then I am going to work 3 single crochet, 1, 2, and 3 which is going to get us across to our next leaf and stem section. I'm going to go through this a few times, I think, because I do think this is somewhat confusing, particularly when publishing a pattern in a magazine. Oftentimes their primary purpose is to make it as short as possible, as succinct as possible, which means that there's a lot of brackets and parentheses, and that can make it pretty confusing, especially for a new crocheter. So don't worry if you were confused, that is pretty normal. So now this is my next single crochet that I'm going to be working into. Let's look at our leaf and stem. Here is our first stem piece or leaf piece. From front to back, I'm putting my hook in the loop, and then I'm putting my hook into my single crochet and working a single crochet. Then I'm going to work single crochets in the next 2 stitches. And I'm going to work a single crochet into the chain, or again, if you like, you can work it into the space. It doesn't really matter. Then single crochet in the next 2 single crochet. Now we're ready to tack down our last leaf, our left-hand leaf if you are right-handed. So front to back, through the loop, it's the second leaf. I find my next single crochet that I'm going to work into, and I single crochet. So notice that our middle loops are still free. That's because we are going to be working our rosebuds in a later row. So for round 10, then we're just going to continue in this pattern. There's 3 single crochet in between these leaf sections. I find my first leaf, I find my next single crochet that I'm working into, I work a single crochet, and then I work 2 more, I single crochet into the chain, and then 2 more, I find my last loop. Again, they can sometimes get a little tangled up, so be sure you're getting the right loop or it's going to look kind of funny. So continue in this pattern all the way around and do not finish off. And then round 11, you simply single crochet in every stitch around. That's pretty straightforward. So I'm going to turn off the video and we will join back up then when we are ready for round 12, which is when we are going to actually work the rosebuds. Now we're ready for round 12, which is kind of the pièce de résistance. We're actually going to put in our rosebud part. So I have joined from round 11, where I just single crocheted around, you can see, very simple. And then I'm going to chain 1 and single crochet in the same space. Then single crochet in the next 6 single crochet. Okay, now the rosebud is essentially 6 double crochet worked through this stem piece and in the next single crochet. So I'm going to yarn over, because I'm doing double crochets, insert from front to back through that middle stem piece, and then also into the next single crochet that you're ready to work into. Now this looks kind of funny right now, but actually in the next row, we're sort of gonna make this 3-dimensional like that. But for now, we're just making the double crochet. Then find your next single crochet here. We're going to work in the next 9 to get us across to the next leaf and stem section. And 9. Get a little more yarn here. All right. Once again, we're going to do that rosebud. We're going to find our middle stem piece and that leaf and stem thing. We're going to find our next single crochet, yarn over, insert from front to back through the leaf, stem rather, and into the single crochet. And we're going to work 6 double crochet. There we go, another rosebud. So we're just going to repeat this. So we're going to work 9 single crochet, then we're going to work those 6 double crochet into the stem and the next single crochet all the way around. When we get back to the beginning, we're going to end with 1 last rosebud and 6 single crochet, and then we're going to join. We're getting into the home stretch now. We just have 2 rounds left. Round 13 is when we are going to give these rosebuds their 3-dimensional appearance. So I have joined round 12 and chained 1. I'm going to single crochet in the same stitch and in the next 6 stitches. Then I'm going to chain 1 and skip over the rosebud. So there are 6 double crochet here that I'm going to skip. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm going to work my next single crochet in here. And then I'll work 8 more single crochet across to the next rosebud. Six, 7, 8, and 9. Yeah, so there's 9 total in between the rosebuds. Yeah, so here's one last one. It looks a little distorted. It's just a little bit stretched out because it's right before the double crochets. That's nothing to worry about. That's no problem. So 1 last single crochet there. I'm going to chain 1. I'm going to skip over the rosebud. I'm going to find the single crochet on the other side. I'm going to work 9 single crochet across to the next rosebud. And 9, chain 1. Skip the rosebud and make sure you're pushing it to the front. It's easy for that to get pushed to the wrong side of the work, which of course doesn't look like anything. There's no leaves or anything. That doesn't look cool. So push it toward you when you make the next single crochet. So just proceed in this way all the way around. You know, chaining to skip over the rosebuds and working 9 single crochet in between the rosebuds until you get all the way around to the end of the round, when you'll work 6 single crochet and join as usual. And we'll meet up again for round 14. Here we are, round 14. You're almost done. 1 round to go, and this one is pretty simple. So again, I just chain 1 and single crochet in the same stitch as normal. Then I stitch across 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 across to the chain that I made to skip the rosebud. And I'm just going to stitch into either the space or into the chain. It really doesn't matter. It's slightly easier to do it into the chain space, I guess. I think that's what it says in the pattern as well, but it really doesn't matter. It's just like earlier. If you think it looks a little bit better into the chain, have at it. It really doesn't matter. So then there's 9 single crochet between the chains. You're just going to single crochet in each single crochet and each chain 1 space around. It's pretty straightforward. So that's pretty much it. That is the Ring of Roses coaster and basket tutorial. Some more resources if you're interested in taking your rosebuds to the next level, I guess. I do think that this is such a pretty technique that it's fun to use it for other things as well. I stumbled across a pretty fun tutorial on doing these with more than just 2 colors. The way I have written my pattern, you only ever use 1 color in a row. You don't have to do color work in the row, which makes it easier to do, but there's this other technique for changing the colors in the row. So you can have 1 background color, like a beige, and then you can have green leaves and maybe a purple flower, and that looks pretty fun too. I will post a link to that video in the description if you want to take it to the next level. It's also possible to work these rosebud stitches working back and forth. You don't have to be doing it in the round. There's all kinds of things you can do with it if you're ready to branch out a little bit. If not, if you're done, once you finish row 14, you can block it if you like. You can make more coasters if you like, and then you're good to go. Thanks for joining me, and have a great day.